Right, it's been a little bit of a saga this. This has actually been going on for about a month and a half, but I'm pleased to say I've got a resolution on this, and so hang around and it may just help you out. So we're talking about RFI here, or radio frequency interference, and this has just happened to me on a new PC which I've just purchased. So a PC is quite a rare purchase for me, so I changed. Last time I bought a computer was, I think it was about 12 years ago. I upgraded it as far as it could go, and it was struggling to do any sort of real video editing. So I saved up and I got a new one. But usually I build my own computers, but I got a company that specialises in building computers to your personal specifications, so that's the route that I decided to go through. Now, I'm not going to mention the company in question or the person that was dealing with me, but I do have actually quite a lot of praise for them. Because it was quite a difficult situation, this. So, as I say, back to October of 23, where I purchased this computer, I didn't think too much of it. Now, most of the components in this PC, the power supply, the RAM, they were all Corsair, and I think this company actually, all they deal in is for power supplies, which we're going to get into, is Corsair. So I actually opted for a Corsair CV650. This is actually it here. Now they've actually returned this to me by accident, so I need to send it back. So this is actually the offending item. So that will actually get going back next week once they send me some shipping information. So I got the computer. I thought all was good. And I noticed one night I had a lot of interference. Now, it was round about Christmas time, and I just assumed it was down to LED lights. So I just happened to turn my computer off before I turned the radio off. Then all of a sudden, the noise disappeared, the penny dropped, and I realised that it was the computer that was causing the RFI. So I disconnected absolutely everything from the computer, monitors, USB cables, everything, and I still had this horrible RFI. Now, have a look at this video. This is going to actually show you how bad the RFI was. Right, so this is the radio with the computer turned off. I think this is a very faint VK station here. And 20 metres is by far the worst, so I'm going to turn on the computer. So that's just now about a nice 3 noise. Now this interference occurs every 100 kilohertz or so. So there, see that noise? That's the S9 plus 10, and that's the computer. It's just absolutely killing the radio. So as I said, from the point of discovering that I had the RFI, it was probably about a month and a half before I actually got things resolved. So the first thing I actually did was I sent an email to the company, just telling them what was wrong and what I wasn't happy about. I'll put that up on the screen as I'll do with some of these emails, explaining to them. And of course, it transpired that this company knew nothing about RFI, EMC compliance, anything like that. And the first reply was basically, have you checked that all your drivers are up to date? And at that, I just shook my head, because I thought at that point, I'm going to have a lot of trouble here. So I went back to them again, and it says, look, this is not software, it's hardware, 100%. I said, it's very likely the PSU, power supply unit. I put a tweet on X, Twitter, whatever, and a lot of people came back to me, and they were actually recommending the brand Be Quiet, saying that people have never had issues with this brand. Well, I thought that of Corsair. Now, it wasn't a top of the range Corsair, but it was a bronze. I assumed, being Corsair, it was going to be EMC compliant. And I said to them, do some research on EMC compliance. So there was a few emails back and forward asking me to basically do some of the same checks that I'd done already, taking out the cables and so on. So then I actually got a phone call from the person that was dealing with me all the way through, which I thought was actually really good. They actually did some research. They understood the issue. They realised what the EMC was, RFI was, and I thought that was quite good of them. So they says, look, give us a little bit of time. We want to speak to our R&D. But just at that moment, someone else had actually bought a new computer, and it was Callum, the ex-commander. And his computer, he had a gold Corsair. It was a RM1000, I believe, modular, 1000 watt power supply. And he said he had zero issues and the computer was completely quiet. So I actually mentioned this to the company at the time, but I thought, right, I'll give them their time, see what they want to do. So 2-3 weeks went by and I heard absolutely nothing from them. And I emailed them just for a chaser and I says, look, what's happening? What are we going to do here? And they replied back to me basically saying their tone had slightly changed at this point, basically saying that my PSU is compliant because it's got a UKCE or UKCA CE compliance. And I says, well, that doesn't really prove anything. It proves that the item that was submitted for approval, type approval, was good. And that's not to say that serial production is good. So they recommended that I actually send the computer back and they would replace the PSU for another from a different batch. But I wasn't happy at that because I was pretty sure that the same thing would probably happen again. Can't 100% say that, but to send the computer away, to get it back, to have the same issue, to send it away again. So I said to them, I says, look, not happy at that. I says, what else can be done? And I says, look, I know about this Corsair gold power supply, modular one. Can you fit this instead? And initially they were wanting extra money from me. I initially resisted, but I started to come round, thinking that, this has went on for over a month. I am getting something that's a little bit better than what I had. I shouldn't have to pay extra to get EMC compliance, but if it helps to get things over the line, that's what I'm prepared to do. Now, the company didn't actually give me a price before I sent the computer back, but I actually sent it back in good faith. So the turnaround was actually really, really quick. I sent the computer down on the Friday, and by the following Friday, I actually had the computer back there. I think by the Tuesday or the Wednesday, I actually got an email saying, look, we've got your PC. The cost to upgrade is, I think it was £61 or £63. They give me a little bit of a discount, plus they'd done the shipping all the way down, all the way back. So I thought that was actually really good of them. A little bit anxious when I got the computer back again, turned it on, and there was not a bit of noise. So there's nothing really to show you. The computer is absolutely great now. Apart from the fact that I have a 1000 watt power supply in the computer, but I don't use it that much. So power consumption is not really too much of a concern. And if I want to upgrade the computer, put a bigger graphics card in there, the power supply is going to handle that. It's going to handle absolutely anything. So it's a little bit difficult for the company because obviously the contract that I had was with the company I purchased the PC from, and then they were then going back to Corsair to basically argue the point for this offending power supply here. So they weren't actually too happy when I emailed them to say that the computer was good, and thanks for sending the old one back because I wanted to do some testing with this, or perhaps get someone to do that. And then I was actually going to put a sledgehammer through it. But it was a mistake on their part, which I said, so I need to back. So what's the moral of the story? Well, if you're going to buy a computer, I wouldn't recommend buying a Corsair bronze power supply unit. If you're going to buy one, I would say go for the Be Quiet PSUs because I've had most reports about these all being good. And if you have to go with Corsair, go with the gold one, a gold series power supply. For some reason, these seem to be slightly better filtered than the cheaper ones. As I said, EMC compliance shouldn't be optional. Perhaps I just got a bad one, but I doubt it. So there we go. I hope that it's been of some use to you guys, and we'll catch you next one. Bye for now.